Now, to continue the list of amazing features, light groups are another new light feature available since Blender 3.2 that will let us control lights outside of our viewport. Now, that sounds kind of weird, but trust me, it's incredibly powerful and it's more reliant on compositing than anything else. So let's dive into Blender and learn about light groups. So over here, I have a very simple scene with a torus knot that I just made, and there's several lights in this shot. Now, what we can do is if we select a light and go down here to shading, there's something called light groups. If we open that up, we can create a new light group. So for example, let's call this thing orange, let's call this thing light 1, and we're gonna add this light to it. Now we have another one here, which we can call light 2, for example, and we are basically putting each of these lights in their own group. So again, this one, light 3, again, press the plus icon there, and there we have it. These lights are all inside their own light groups. Now, I could also add another light, for example, this guy here, and put it up there, maybe make it a little bit stronger, get some nice top lighting there, make it a little bit bigger, something like that. And we're going to add this one to a pre-existing light group. So we're just going to select, for example, light 3 there, and there you go. This is now also inside light group 3. Okay, so how can we now use these lights? Well, let's go ahead and render out this shot here. All right, so we have our shot done, and we needed to do this to be able to use this image here inside of our compositing tab in Blender. So let me close off the render window here. I'm just going to disable render view here, and we're going to move on over to the compositing tab up here. Now, there's something called use nodes here, and if we click that, we get to see our render. Now, to be able to actually see our render within this sort of workspace, let me just close off this area here. We need to create a viewer node. So I'm going to go Shift A, search a viewer node, and we're just going to plug in the render layer here. Now, this is the image that we just rendered. If you press V, we can sort of zoom out. If we press Alt V, we can zoom in. So I'm just going to press V a couple of times to make sure that we're having the entire image in our screen here. And I'm going to hit Shift, right click, and drag over these two to connect them together. All right, so let's just move this thing a little bit to the side here. Let's move these to the side here as well. So they are no longer in the way of our image here. In our render layers, we are now seeing several light groups, which are the combined light 1, combined light 2, and combined light 3. These are the actual light groups that we just created. So if we cycle through these layers by Control Shift clicking, Control Shift click, there's light group 1, which contains our blue light, there's light group 2, which contains our orange light, and there's light group 3, which contains both of our white lights. Now, the great thing about this, and the really powerful thing about this, is that we can use a combination of these lights, or we can just composite these together. So for example, let's say we only want to use the orange and the blue light and not the white lights. Well, very simply, we can just take combined light 1, combined light 2, and we can merge these together. Now it's gonna do this incorrectly, but if we set this to, I believe it's gonna be screen, there we go. We now get both of them. So now we get the blue and the orange combined. And another great thing is that we can add in this one by taking another mix node, making that go there, take this here, set this to screen, and we basically get the exact same look that we had before, but now we get full control over each individual light group. So let's say, for example, I want to change the color of the orange light to be something else. I can just take a hue saturation node, plug that in here, I believe this is the orange one, and just change the hue to be something else. For example, I want this to be bluish as well, and there we go. Now this light is blue as well without having to re-render anything. And that's why this is so incredibly powerful, because this allows you to control lights without having to re-render them. Not only that, I can also change the strength. So for example, maybe I want to go exposure node, and we just plug that in there, and I want to make sure that this light here is a lot stronger, and there we go. We actually get more exposure, and it works as intended, right? So maybe this guy doesn't need this, so let's just disable this, and we're going to take it into the white node to make the white light a little bit stronger. There we go. The white light is now stronger without, again, having to re-render anything. So especially if you're working with slower hardware, or maybe you want to keep control over everything after you render something, using this setup is the ultimate power that you have to do so. Again, light groups are available within the shading tab for lights. So if you select the light orange block there, shading tab, light group, you can add them to lights. And once you have that, you can use them within compositing. Light groups are sometimes a little bit hard to wrap your head around, but once you understand them, this is one of those things that is a true game changer when it comes to lighting inside of Blender. So start using light groups today to make your life in Blender that much easier. All right, that wraps up light groups in Blender, and we're going to continue with shaping light with nodes inside of Blender in the next lesson.